What up, guys? It's Duke Delaet. Happy Thanksgiving. I want to talk to you today about being a barrier to your own success. It's Thanksgiving Day. I saw my grandma, ate a pot roast, went to go make some music late night, and about 11:30, an old friend of mine calls me, and he's like, I need your advice. Me, not shying away from any sort of advice giving, I'm like, okay, what's up? We spent about an hour going through all of his problems and stuff, and I went through the general initial coaching practice thing, which is basically ask a whole bunch of questions and figure out where their head's at. Turns out, just like most people who call me, his problem wasn't actually the problem that he thought his problem was. His problem was the fact that he had some fear of the unknown. He didn't want to step out into the unknown because it's unknown. But as I talked to him, I saw him face that fear and, come up with the worst possible ways it could turn out, and then the best possible ways it could turn out. And as he's going through these exercises, he's coming up with the fact that basically most of his fears are stupid. Like, the things that actually are going to happen are probably way different than the things that he was projecting that were going to happen. There's a big problem in coaching. It's people call me and then they're like, oh, this is all going to fucking fall apart and all these crazy things are going to happen and I'm going to lose this and I'm going to lose that and then where am I going to be? But generally, we're pretty capable. And if we just think about it beforehand and sort of plan ahead and figure out what our actual goals are, get some clarity on that, the plan is fairly easy to follow, right? You can see how you can get from one step to the next, to the next, to the next. This guy's problem was the fact that his entire methodology of doing things from his life, from then till now, was go all in, take 100% of all of your effort and focus on one project till it's done. Which can work, I guess, but for him, it never had. I'm like, all right, so you're 38. Let me ask you, what area of your life have you done this process where you give up everything else and destroy your relationships and don't sleep and ignore your health for a amount of time, and then the project that came out the other end was you made it, like you're actually successful? And he's like, none. And I'm like, all right, so what makes you think that strategy is effective in any new undertaking that you do? And he's like, well, it's not, I guess. And I'm like, well, then why are you worried about implementing this strategy when you know it doesn't work, right? So as we carry through all that stuff, he starts to realize that it's the core strategy of just grinding his face off in order to get this, idealistic goal that never comes to fruition, and he's worried about failing again. And I'm like, so why do you do that? Why do you grind your face off? Why do you go all in? And it's probably something, emotional that you're chasing after. And he's like, well, I want to be seen as successful. And I'm like, yeah, but that's never got any success, right? So you're caught in this loop. And so as he's running through all of his options, he ends up, coming up with his own answers, which generally is what happens when you go through coaching, is you come up with your own answers after somebody shows you that you're being stupid. And, he came out feeling good at the end of the call and everything. So I was thinking about this on the way out, and I was like, we're much more capable as humans than we give ourselves credit for, especially in the areas of the unknown, the areas of exploration, where it's like, oh, I don't know what's next. If I take the next step, I could die. But generally you don't. You take the next step and you trip a little and you catch yourself, and then you adjust course if you're a forward-thinking person, or you don't adjust course and you just stop doing it altogether if you're not, right? But most of the time, our worst fears never come to fruition. And the things that we do fear are the things that have happened in the past, because that's what we have references for. So as he's moving forward with his life. He's thinking of this new project that's going to be awesome and give him all of his emotional ego feedback that he wants. But he's thinking that he's going to approach it the same way he approaches other things, and all those things have failed. I'm like, all right, well, how about we just approach it differently? Why don't you just approach it with consistency instead of urgency? Why do you think that you need to get this done in the next 3 to 6 months? Why don't you just stretch it out for 3 years? Would you have time to figure things out and delegate, if you just made the plan a long-term plan? And he's like, oh, yeah, now I feel stupid. Okay, cool. So why did you, why are you employing a strategy that has always failed? Why don't you come up with a new strategy at the base, and then, you can calibrate and figure things out. And yeah, like I said, he felt good about it at the end, and I felt good about it at the end, and everything's cool. So your exercise is to write down a strategy that you've used in the past that always fails or never gotten you the results that you wanted to. And then figure out why you employ that strategy instead of something else. If you have a problem finding new strategies, find somebody who's done what you're trying to do before and see how they do it. There are books everywhere from people who have mastered a certain thing that, whether it's music or stardom or becoming an actor or whatever the hell you're trying to do, somebody has done it and then has probably written a big, long, exhaustive book on it after all of their experience in life. And now they have new media, so there's plenty of people doing YouTube videos and master classes and all these other shit that will show you exactly the steps that they took to get there. And you can watch through them and learn a whole lot of stuff about the mindset, the strategies, the things that they felt like they had to give up, the pitfalls they ran into, just by kind of immersing yourself in their world, putting your feet in their shoes for a little while. So that's your mission. You write down a strategy that hasn't worked for you to get your results in the past. Figure out why emotionally you do the strategy, like because somebody told you that, or you're modeling somebody who you can't reproduce their results or whatever. And then go find a new strategy. Find somebody who's done what you want to do or has been where you want to be, and figure out 1 or 2 key points from their testimony of it to figure out what you can do next on the next step, and stretch it out and see if you can find some mastery in there and change your strategy for good so that you get different results and better reference experiences next time you go around. Happy Thanksgiving again. Remember what you're grateful for, and I will see you guys tomorrow. You can check out the previous videos from the challenge. You can check out yesterday's video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Check out David's videos in the links below in the description. And I do this every damn day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Till then, stay awesome.